Fresh off the back of the news that there's going to be a brand new Nintendo Direct airing tonight, unfortunately for Pokemon fans centered around ARMS, it looks increasingly unlikely that we're going to be receiving a brand new Pokemon game this year. I really, truly believed. I was really hoping. Though, a really interesting discussion point has come up from the comments section of one of my previous videos. It seems like a very vocal majority of you guys really don't want the next Pokemon game to be on the Nintendo Switch. And while I can totally understand the viewpoint, I'm going to be talking to you guys about that viewpoint in just a moment, I don't share that sentiment. In this video, I'm going to be talking about why I want the next Pokemon game to be on the Nintendo Switch. But first, to give this video an objective, unbiased view, what reasons are there against the next Pokemon game being on the Nintendo Switch? First off, quite simply, not enough people currently own the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch is only in the possession of around 2 million people right now. Compared to the worldwide sales of the Nintendo 3DS, 66 million people currently own a Nintendo 3DS. It's likely if you're a big Pokemon fan, you own a Nintendo 3DS at this moment in time, and you probably don't own a Nintendo Switch. This isn't a knock against the Nintendo Switch, it just simply hasn't been out for long enough of a time. There isn't enough supply to meet the demand. Pokemon games typically ship around 15 million copies. So right now, there'd be at least 13 million people left disappointed if there was a Pokemon game exclusively on the Nintendo Switch. I guess in a perfect world, the next Pokemon game would be released on both the Nintendo 3DS and the Nintendo Switch. Would sales potentially be cannibalized? I'm not too sure, I'm not a sales analyst, but that would please everyone. Now that I've gave an unbiased objective view on why the next Pokemon game being on the Nintendo Switch might be a bad idea, let's answer the question posed in the title of the video. Why do I want the next Pokemon game to be on the Nintendo Switch? And the answer, quite simply, is that I want the next Pokemon game to be the best it possibly can be. I loved Pokemon Sun and Moon, don't get me wrong, I thought the games were absolutely fantastic, but judging by leaks from data miners, as well as just general performance issues, a lot of things were very potentially left out from Pokemon Sun and Moon that could have made them much better games, and they just kind of didn't perform the very best that they could have. For example, there was a lot of FPS drops in battles and also in the overworld. And if you look deep into the files for Pokemon Sun and Moon, you will find walking and running animations for every single Pokemon model, as well as low polygon models. These low polygon models for every single Pokemon were very likely supposed to be used within the overworld to help with performance issues. However, because the games were so ambitious as they already were, Pokemon following you looks like it had to be cut out from the full game, and that's a massive shame. If the next Pokemon games were on the Nintendo Switch, Game Freak would have a lot more power to work with. The Nintendo Switch is many times more powerful than the Nintendo 3DS. I don't even think this is a point that I have to argue, I'm sure you guys know already. Another argument people have against the Nintendo Switch being home to the next Pokemon game is that it is the sequel to the Wii U. And thus, it's a quote-unquote home console, not a handheld console like the traditional Nintendo 3DS. I don't agree with that. The Nintendo Switch is literally being marketed as a console that is able to be played anytime, anywhere with anyone. It is a hybrid console. It is able to be played however you want, whether it be in handheld mode, docked mode, TV mode. The days of a traditional handheld console such as the Nintendo 3DS, Nintendo DS, Game Boy Advance, etc. are over. They're over, and Nintendo know that. Back in 2011, Nintendo didn't have to worry about every single person having a smartphone in their pockets. Smartphones have literally killed traditional handheld gaming. Smartphones are incredibly powerful and are capable of running really high-end games at this point. And if Nintendo released a traditional handheld console in 2017, they wouldn't just be competing against Sony with the PlayStation Vita. They'd also be competing against every single mobile device that is out currently today. Handheld consoles would not flourish in the market today. And that is why Nintendo have released a hybrid console. And already within the first 2 months of the console being out, it is being critically acclaimed as being fresh, refreshing, something new, something that everyone is able to get on board with. So while yes, Sure, it's the follow-up to the Wii U and not a follow-up to the Nintendo 3DS. Reggie has said that the Nintendo 3DS is supposed to live alongside the Nintendo Switch. They said that with the Game Boy Advance back in 2004 when the Nintendo DS came out, and we all know what happened to the Game Boy Advance back then. It died a very quick death because the Nintendo DS was wildly successful, and I imagine they're just saying that to appease investors, just in case the Nintendo Switch does flop like the Wii U. I don't think it will though. Ideally, I want the next Pokemon game to be on both the Nintendo 3DS as well as the Nintendo Switch. I want anyone and everyone who's interested in the Pokemon series to be able to play Pokemon on whatever device that they own, and I don't want people to be excluded from that experience. But as a Nintendo Switch owner, I also want the Pokemon series, a series that is so dear to me, to be the very best it can be. And quite simply, in 2017, 6 years on from the Nintendo 3DS's original release date, it can't be the best it can be on that system. And I 100% truly believe that Game Freak should start looking ahead to the future. Do you want the next Pokemon game to be on the Nintendo 3DS, or do you want it to be on the Nintendo Switch? Let me know in the comments section down below. 1,000 likes on this video would be really appreciated for another Pokemon video to be uploaded tomorrow. Feel free to subscribe to see more of my future Pokemon news related videos, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.